Hello, everyone. I have some bad news to share with you.
Oh boy, I feel like the internet community kind of called it. If anything, the outcome of Creator Clash 2 makes me sad, but overall, it seems like Idubbbz took an L, but he's in the process of turning this L into a W because what he's doing with his live stream is awesome. But I feel like we gotta start from the beginning of the story. A few months ago, I made a video covering the massive situation going on Idubbbz' boxing event, Creator Clash. This became a massive controversy because it ended with one of the fighters being kicked for essentially making a joke. And here's a quick clip from myself from the past explaining that situation.
Idubbbz' event is called Creator Clash, and the first one, from what I heard, was a massive success, and now the second one's right around the corner. They decided to just completely tarnish the reputation of the event by kicking a fighter because of a joke. And the fighter who was kicked is Froggy Fresh. Froggy Fresh is a YouTube OG and also rap comedian, and he got kicked for essentially doing his job as a comedian. Well, it's that, and there's a couple of other things that we're gonna get into now, because apparently he also was training with Sam Hyde, who Idubbbz is not a fan of, and to make everything worse, he made this joke.
On April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Elisa's.
I mean, hey, this is exactly the kind of joke that we expect coming out of influencer boxing. I mean, I would not put this past KSI or Jake Paul to make a joke like this. But to explain this joke, I guess there's two sides of it. Obviously, Idubbbz' girlfriend infamously has a which she announced after she was publicly bashing people for a long time. I ended up making a video on that in 2019, which then Idubbbz then responded to in a very normal, insane way. But the hidden part of this joke is it's kind of a dig towards Chris Ray Gun, because Froggy Fresh is or was fighting Chris Ray Gun. And this all stems from Chris and Anissa from Once Upon a Time had a podcast together, and a bunch of people were saying, oh, they have a thing for each other. You know, it's just like the bullshit drama, and this guy is just trying to stir this up to hype up a fight until they rug pull him from the fight, and the fight's not even happening. So now the joke's just whipped out there, and now it's massively amplified, and the fight's not even happening. Massive Streisand effect. At the end of the day, it was a childish joke trying to bring attention to the fight. It brought a lot of attention, but the fight's not happening, I guess.
So that was part one of the saga, but then it got worse because according to Froggy Fresh, he was threatened with a lawsuit, with his tweet reading, "Now I've been threatened with a potential lawsuit if I spoke out about this entire mess, and demanding the $15,000 I used for training, equipment, travel, etc. over the last 5 months. Unbelievable. Is this for charity or what's going on?" Creator Clash received a lot of backlash for that, but they never followed through with an actual lawsuit. So this whole ordeal definitely left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth about Creator Clash. And another issue I felt like they had was just a lack of marketing, because I didn't really see anything about Creator Clash 2 since the Idubbbz announcement video until this whole Froggy Fresh stuff came up. So a large chunk of the PR they received was negative PR, especially on Twitter. But as you guys know, Creator Clash 2 happened, and we didn't hear too much after the event was finished until Idubbbz just made this video titled "The Harsh Reality of Creator Clash." Here he breaks down the event lost $250,000, which sucks because I want to see creators have successful events because they are very needed for our community. It's a great excuse to go hang out with a bunch of people who are also interested in YouTube content. But there's a massive difference between Idubbbz and Austin McBroom and why their events lost money. Austin's was purely ego-driven, you know, pulling up in a private jet, promising 7-figure paydays for boxers, paying DJ Khaled to perform. Imagine being Austin McBroom, sitting there in the audience, or well, probably a VIP box knowing Austin, but he knows he's probably going to lose about $10 million that night, and all he can hear is DJ Khaled on stage screaming, "We the best, another one. They don't want you to win."
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, Austin McBroom completely blew social gloves because he simply wanted to outdo KSI and Logan Paul. Idubbbz, on the other hand, had a disconnect with his community and, I guess, viewers of Creator Clash. But here's a quick clip from him explaining his loss.
For Creator Clash 2, you know, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event. The way that this typically works for anyone who's unaware is that once our expenses are paid off for the event, like all the minimums of like, you know, broadcasting, the hotel, travel, all that sort of stuff, once that's all paid off, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point, right? We're $250,000 in the red. I foolishly thought that the success of last year would should be a minimum.
Now, I disagreed with his decisions leading up to the fight, but this I have a lot of respect for. Because it's not easy to have a successful event, then follow it with an event that loses money, and then you have to announce to the world that you essentially took a $250,000 L. And then on top of that, that your charity event can't give to charity. I mean, kudos to him for just being candid about this. But he also explained that he bumped up the number of fighters to 24, and then they each got $20,000 each to train for boxing. So for the entire event, they spent $480,000 on fighters. Do you hear that? Austin McBroom. Idubbbz convinced 23 fighters to fight for less than what just Austin wanted to fight for at his own event. I'm still giving flack to Social Gloves because it was just a social media masterclass at absolutely nuking investor money. But what I respect about this Idubbbz video is he has an honest dialogue. He says he's going to take this $250,000 L as a personal hit, which is not a little amount of money. That's a major bag. But he immediately comes up with a game plan on how he's actually going to give money to charities. So he didn't give up after essentially paying $250,000 of his own money to get his ass kicked by Alex Wasabi. He also decided to do a 24-hour live stream that, as of the recording of this video, has raised over $120,000 to charity. So that's a massive W. So again, I respect Idubbbz for making the best out of an unwanted situation. And even though the most recent Creator Clash lost money, they're probably going to do a third one unless someone steals the whole concept like he kind of alluded to here.
But yeah, additionally, another thing that's, been eating at me is that someone is trying to take over Creator Clash. I know that sounds like the plot of a video game or something, but it's real.
So hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully in the next Creator Clash, they don't kick a boxer for jokes and then threaten to sue him. Just that in itself would help massively. But there's been an update to the whole thing with Froggy Fresh, because according to Harley from Epic Mealtime, 2 of the Creator Clash fighters anonymously donated a total of $100,000 directly to the charity that he submitted. When Gideon offered Idubbbz $100,000 to have your back, those 2 anonymous donators donated $100,000 to your charity, and then Ian declined Gideon's offer. And Anissa, who's Idubbbz' wife, followed up by saying, Froggy is crying about his charity getting no love, with both of his charities got $50,000 each from us before the event even happened. We also will be donating upload revenue from the full broadcast and stream highlights to charities that weren't registered with Tiltify. So I mean, hey, I still don't agree with the decision of removing Froggy, but hey, at least they covered his charities. But speaking of her, the one thing I did notice through this whole promotion of this is it seems like him and his wife Anissa were responsible for this event, but Idubbbz is the only one taking responsibility when it didn't go well. And now you have a highlight from his stream of just her kind of digging into him and just casually telling the world that he shits himself.
If you can. I just want to ask you if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
So that's a thing to do on her part, no pun intended. Call me crazy, but I have zero interest in airing out the private life of my significant other, especially on a stream with thousands of people watching. But hey, whatever floats their boat. The YouTube algorithm thinks that you would enjoy this video of mine, so I would recommend you guys checking it out. And of course, I'll link the Idubbbz video in the description down below. And I'm gonna get some sleep because I keep staying up until like 6 in the morning and record these videos. Peace.